ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदादतं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः. Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We are discussing the famous first and the profound statement of Sri Ramakrishna in the Gospel. Shandha Gayatri te loy Gayatri abar Onkare loy. Swami Vivekananda said, every statement of Sri Ramakrishna may be interpreted, expanded and described in several volumes. So we are trying to understand the meaning of this in so many classes. Even then the profundity of the statement is so much we can't exhaust it. Sandhya is karma, ritualistic karma. Trisandhya, Sayam Sandhya, Pratah Sandhya and Madhyanika Sandhya. So you purify yourself repeatedly and you get ready for invoking the Gayatri. Then you invoke the Gayatri in your heart. Gayatri mavahayami, Savitri mavahayami, Saraswati mavahayami. Gayatri, Savitri, Saraswati, these are the three names given to the same deity. Respectively in the morning, Pratah, when night passes into day, at the dawn, and at mid-noon, when the sun is just above, no shadow is cast of yourself on the ground. And evening, Sayam Sandhya, when day once again is passing into night. These are special moments. We saw how the microcosm is connected to the macrocosm, and when the entire nature undergoes a phase transition, as we call it in science, the phase transition from night to day and day to night is of special significance because it involves the sun and the moon. We should remember that the sun and the moon are the two light givers to the world. They are the Jyotis Swarupa, Chandra Jyoti and Surya Jyoti. Surya Jyoti is available in the daytime and Chandra Jyoti is available during the night. These two are the two Jyotis, and that supreme light of consciousness, Jyotiram, Jyotisham Jyotihi, Jyotira Jyoti Ujjvala Hridi Kandara Tumitama Bhanjanahar. Swami Vivekananda sang in the Aratrika hymn, O Lord, you are the Jyoti of the Jyotis, light of lights, and you illumine the heart. Jyotira Jyoti. And the Upanishad says, the Mundaka Upanishad, Tat Shubhram Jyotisham Jyotihi Tad Yadatma Vido Viduhu. That is the pure, that is the light of lights. And this Brahman, which is Jyotisham Jyotihi, is realized by the knowers of the Atman. The Atman and Brahman are considered synonymous. Atman is a microcosmic aspect of the spiritual reality, and Brahman is the macrocosmic aspect of the same reality. And the Upanishadic realization points out to realization of the Atma Brahma Aikya. This is Sri Shankaracharya's Advaitic position. This is the Brahman which is talked about in the Upanishad. Upanishad talks about Brahman in the sense that it is one with the Atman. Shankaracharya in the Bhashyas talks about two kinds of Brahman, the Geya Brahman and the Upasya Brahma. Upasya Brahma is that which is worshipped. It is Saguna aspect, Kali, Durga, Ramakrishna, avatars. These are the forms of Brahman which are upasya, worshipped and worshipful. But the another aspect of Brahman is Geya Brahman, that which is to be known. Known as what? Which is to be known as your own self. Pratyagatma bhutam Brahma. That Brahman which is your own Pratyagatman. Shankara's idea is, we should know how we are related to that Brahman. The Brahman is somewhere there and we worship it. But how is it that I am connected to this Brahman? What is my relationship to this Brahman? I, the Pratyagatman, the inner self, which is realized in the Vijnanamaya, how is it that I am related to this infinite Brahman, the macrocosmic Brahman? This relationship is extremely important because if you do not establish this relationship and realize it, this Brahman is not of any use to us. In what way God is useful to us? Unless He is related to me. So this has been established in Vedanta long ago as the Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika and Adi Daivika aspects of Brahman. The Adi Daivika aspect of the Surya, Savitra Mandala, for example, the Adi Daivika is the divine Surya, Savitra Mandala Madhyavarti Narayana Sarasajasana Sannivishtaha, that Narayana, the Supreme Lord, who is in the solar orb, Savitra Mandala Madhyavarti, and the Adi Bhautika Surya is the Surya which is worshipped by the scientists, the astrophysicists. And the Adhyatmika Surya is that which is related to me, the individual self, as identical with one's own self in the Advaita Vedanta. The individual self forming part of the universal self in the Visishta Advaita Vedanta. And the individual self, though separate, is eternally dependent and subject to the rule, the dictum of the Supreme Self. Whatever be the Vedanta which talk about, this Brahman is related to the Atman. And Shankara's position, it is identical with the Atman. Pratyagatma bhutam Brahma. This is called Upanishadam Brahma. Shankara repeatedly talks about in the Bhashyas. And the Upanishad also says, Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam. All this is Brahman. What kind of Brahman? Upanishadam Brahma. That Brahman which is established, expounded, described, explained in the Upanishad. Not in the Puranas. The Puranas talk about Brahman as Saguna Brahman, as manifested entities of the Lord, as avatars, as Kali or Durga deities. But the Brahman which you are talking about, the Upanishad is Atma Brahma Aikya Upanishad, a Brahman. Upanishadam Brahma, Upanishad Pratipadya Brahma, that Brahman which is Pratipadya, established, expounded in the Upanishad. So, this aspect of the Surya, Savitra Mandala, Narayana, is further taken up when you talk about the Gayatri. The Gayatri Devi is a female deity. It is the power of Brahman. Gayatri Savitri and Saraswati, this power of Brahman is identical with Brahman itself. Shakti Shaktimato Ananyatvat. That is Shankara's statement in the Gita Bhashya. Shakti and Shaktiman, the power and the possessor of the power, are identical. Ananya. They are one. So this Devi Gayatri, when it comes to the heart, it illumines the heart. What is illumination? It is the light of consciousness. Chaitanya Jyoti, the light of consciousness. And this is the Vijnanamaya. The Vijnanamaya is identical to the heart. The Vedanta calls it as Hridaya Akasha, Dahara Akasha. The Yoga calls it Hrit Padma. And Tantra calls it Hrit Chakra. It's called the Anahata Chakra, the heart. And it is called the spiritual heart. And yogis and jnanis have said, like Ramana Maharshi of the present day, the spiritual heart is the right, while the physical, the Aryabhautika heart is to the left. Whatever. So that is the seat of consciousness. That is the seat, the spiritual seat, in which the individual realizes himself or herself as consciousness, Chaitanya Swarupa. So long as the jiva, the individual self, identify himself with the body, the mind and the indriyas, he remains at an unawakened state. He does not realize himself as consciousness, realize himself as a dehi, remaining in a deha. Dehi is the individual self, Pratyagatman, residing in the deha, the body. Puramekadashadvaram majasya vakrachetasa anusthayana shochati vimuktascha vimuchyate. Kathoparishad 221, second chapter, second valley, first mantra. This Ekadashadvara Pura, this Pura, the city with 11 gates. The Gita talks about 9-gated city, Navadvare Pure Dehi Naiva Kurvanna Karayan. Navadvara Pura, 9-gated city. It has 9 gates, 9 windows. 7 of them are the Mukhamandala in the face, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears and 1 mouth. 7. And 2 more are below in the lower part of the body. And Ekadasha will include 2 more, 11, the Nabhi and the Brahma Randhra at the top of the head. So either it is 9 or 11, this is a Pura. Pura means a city. And the Purusha means Purishayanat. A person who is lying in this body is called a Purusha. Who is lying in this body? The Pratyagatman or the Jivatman. How do you realize it? When do you realize it? You realize it when you awaken the heart center, the Hrit Chakra. The Tantra call it the Anahata Padma with 12 petals. The Vedanta calls it as Hridaya Akasha. Esho ontar Hridaya Akasha tasminnayam purusho manomayah amrito hiranmayah. Taittiriya Upanishad. Hridaya Akasha. This is also called Dahara Akasha. There is a cavity in the heart in which shines this light of consciousness of the individual self. And that is identical with the Supreme Self. Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam Nirvikalpam. the Dhyana mantra of Ramakrishna composed by Swami Abhedananda, based on the well-known Vedantic hymns, Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam. The Hridaya Kamala, Hrit Pundarika, is also spoken about in the Yoga Sutras. When the heart center is awakened, you see a mysterious light, uncreated light. In the Gospel of Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna speaks about it. When the Kundalini reaches the Hrit Chakra, the Anahata Chakra, one sees a mysterious light and one exclaims in wonder, "Ah, what is this? Eki, what is this light?" And you realize yourself to be one with this light. The beauty of this light is you don't see that as a light which you see as an observer, as an external observer. You realize this light to be your own self. This light of consciousness in the heart is called the Jivatma, the Pratyagatma. But that is only a reflection of the Paramatma. The light of this light is the Paramatman. You have to go still farther up. So in Vedanta, this is called the Hrit Akasha, Hridaya Akasha, the Vijnanamaya Atma, Annamaya Pranamaya, Manomaya Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya Atma, the five Atmas, which Shankara calls Kosha in the Taittiriya Upanishad, is mapped onto the Shat Chakra of Tantra, Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddha, Agya. These are the Shat Chakras. The mapping is done as follows. The Mooladhara is the Annamaya, Swadhisthana is Pranamaya, Manipura is Manomaya, Anahata is Vijnanamaya, and the Agya Chakra is the Anandamaya. Vishuddha is in between. And beyond that is the Sahasrara, which is beyond Anandamaya, which is Nirguna Brahman. That is the highest experience. But when you reach the Agya Chakra, you experience the Saguna Brahman. This happened to Sri Ramakrishna. Those of you who have read the Sri Ramakrishna Leela Prasanga by Swami Sharadananda Ji, translated into English as Ramakrishna the Great Master, and the recent retranslation by Swami Chetanananda Ji as Ramakrishna's Divine Play, there it is described that when Totapuri, the Advaita Guru of Sri Ramakrishna, was teaching him the mysteries of the Advaita Sadhana, the subtleties, the mystical experiences, Sri Ramakrishna very quickly advanced in that sadhana, and he got stuck up when he saw the luminous, tangible, palpably living divine form of Mother Bhavatarini, Ishtadevi Kali. He cried and told Totapuri, "I just can't leave my mother and go beyond." Totapuri insisted that you should go even beyond the form and name of Bhavatarini Kali. However high this experience may be, even that is within the Dvaita Prapancha, in the manifested universe of name and form. Go beyond this. Sri Ramakrishna cried, "I just can't leave my mother and go. She is real, she is palpable, she is loving, she is luminous, she is tangible." Then Totapuri got angry. "Kyo nahi hoga?" He took a small piece of glass from somewhere and pierced Sri Ramakrishna in the between the eyebrows, Ajna Chakra. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, when the mind was stuck up there to the piercing of the Guru, it is not physical, mind you. It is highly mystical and spiritual. Then when the mind ascended there, the Kundalini, then he said, I imagined jnana, knowledge, as a khadga or a sword, and cut the form of the mother into two pieces. Name and form completely vanished, and the mind soared into the Nirvikalpa, the Nirguna in the Sahasrara got absorbed. That is the highest experience, and strangely, by the will of the Divine Mother, he came back again for the good of the world and stayed eternally in the Bhava Mukha, which is the Ajna Chakra, which connects the Nirguna in the Sahasrara and the Saguna in the Ajna, Vishuddha and Anahata. That's the threshold, Bhava Mukha. Threshold between the being and becoming, relative and the absolute, immanent and the transcendental, formful and formless, attributeful and attributeless, Nirguna and Saguna. This Bhavamukha became the eternal state of existence of Sri Ramakrishna. There's an extraordinary story. We can describe it sometime as far as we have understood in some other context. So the context here is how the mind or the Kundalini Shakti arising up to Anahata and realizing oneself as a self remaining in the body, as a Purusha in the Pura, as Dehi in the Deha. This is the realization of the individual self in the individual Vijnanamaya Atma. Now, from here we move on to the cosmic Vijnanamaya, which is called the Hiranyagarbha. It is just like you enter in an elevator, a lift. Press 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 1 is the ground floor in the American system. Mooladhara, Swaristhana, Manipura, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, Anahata. So you transcend the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, and then rise to the Vijnanamaya. You see the mysterious light, which is accompanied by an unstruck mysterious sound, which is the Om. The yogi, the jnani, hears a powerful, mysterious vibration of Om, accompanied by light. Om. It is described as an experience by the yogis and the jnanis. It's unstruck. It is not created by striking, and therefore it is Anadi Ananta, without beginning and without end, and therefore it is Shashvata, eternal, ever existent, and therefore it is infinite, because anything which is finite will be within space-time and causation. So this Anahata Dhvani is the Om. So the Gayatri Mantra awakens the Vijnanamaya. Dhiyo yo na prachodayat. The Dhi is awakened. Dhi is called Medha. Dhi is also called Prajna in Yoga Sutra. Prajnaloka, the light of Prajna. Ritambhara Prajna. The Prajna which is full of truth, filled with the truth. So this Prajna or Medha is awakened, Dhi is awakened, When the Dhi is awakened, the individual Vijnanamaya is awakened, and from there on, you exit the elevator and walk horizontally, taking the escalator. In the airports you would have seen, you take an elevator and come up, then you exit at a point and take an escalator, a road which walks you through, and you reach the state of Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is the cosmic counterpart of the individual Vijnanamaya. Vijnanamaya is called the Buddhi, Dhi, Medha, Pragya, individual Buddhi. And the Samashti Buddhi, here Buddhi is not the intellect of the brain, it is the awakened intuitive intelligence called Medha. So the cosmic collective Buddhi, Samashti Buddhi, and the Chaitanya of which this Buddhi is the Upadhi, is called Samashti Buddhyupahita Chaitanya. The Chaitanya, the consciousness, which is Samashti Buddhyupahita, of which the Samashti Buddhi is the Upadhi or the limiting adjunct. Just like the individual consciousness is Vyashti Buddhyupahita Chaitanya, the individual Chaitanya, the Samashti Buddhyupahita Chaitanya, technically in Vedanta is called Hiranyagarbha, and in Sankhya it is called Mahat. And once you have reached there, you have come to the realm of Saguna Brahman. These are great mysteries which mystics have actually realized and documented in the Upanishads and various Shastras. You come face to face with Saguna Brahman. It is called Vaikuntha by the devotees of Narayana Vishnu. They come face to face with Vishnu, Shankha Chakra Gadadhari. He is there, Ananta Shayana and Vaikuntha. And they feel great joy in reaching there. It is called Kailasha by the followers of Shiva. It is called Ramakrishna Loka by the followers of Ramakrishna. It is called the Father in Heaven, which is the Paramapita of the Christians who believe that the Christ is the beloved Son of the Supreme Paramapita, the Father in Heaven. The Christians will go to that heaven and be face to face with the Paramapita. So whatever be the conception, it means the cosmic being, the Hiranyagarbha, the Saguna Brahman, attribute-full Brahman, who is encountered face to face when you rise to that level. So you reach the Hiranyagarbha Loka, and the entry of the Hiranyagarbha Loka is guarded by Medha Devi. Medha Devi, with a benign countenance, benign face, with graceful, full of blessing and love and affection and grace, she welcomes the sadhaka. Welcome to Hiranyagarbha. Medha Devi Jushamana na agaad Vishwachi Bhadra Sumanasyamana Tvaya Jushta Nudamana Durukta An Brahadvadema Vidathe Subira Aha Tvaya Jushta Rishir Bhavati Devi. Medha Suktam. Medha Devi, you be graceful to me. Sumanasyamana, full of sumukhitva. Sumukhi means smiling, graceful, benign, full of blessing. Tvaya jushta rishir bhavati. Those who have been blessed by you, they become rishis. So when we as sadhakas reach that Hiranyagarbha loka, blessed by the Medha Devi who gives us entrance to this, we become rishis. Rishis are those who have access to the Hiranyagarbha loka. We talk about Narada as a great rishi, a great bhakta, Shukadeva as Brahmarshi, Narada as Devarshi. What does it mean? They live in the Vaikuntha or in the Shivaloka, in the Hiranyagarbha loka, constantly living with God in this company. That itself is called a kind of a mukti. 4 kinds of mukti are spoken of. One is you live in the same loka as God or Saguna Brahman Hiranyagarbha. It's called Salokya Mukti, same loka. Still closer, you go very near the Lord, stay constantly by the side of God. The Muslims also have a conception that you sit to the right of God or the left of Allah. The idea is more or less the same. You become very close to Him. It's called Samipya Mukti, Samipa. And still deeper realization, Sarupya Mukti. You get the same Rupa, same form as God. The gopis of Vrindavan experienced this. When they were so absorbed in the thought of Krishna, they thought themselves to be Krishna Himself. They spoke like Krishna, they acted like Krishna, they sang like Krishna. They completely participated in the divinity of Sri Krishna Bhagavan. It's called Sarupya, Swarupa. They have the Swarupa of God Himself. And the last is the Sayujya Mukti. They become one with the Supreme Reality. Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sayujya Mukti. These are all great treasures in our scriptures. When you talk about it, think about it, contemplate it, you feel so joyful. And then you feel, oh, how our life is getting wasted in pleasures and talking to others, gossiping, socializing, enjoying the sense pleasures. How we are valuing in Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, and in the Vijnana also, in the cosmic Vijnana when you teach, the very, very high state. Even a glimpse of this, even intellectually trying to grasp it, understand it, contemplate it, gives us so much of joy and elevation. At least in this life, we should constantly think about this, meditate upon this, enjoy even from the point of ideas, these great thoughts. Asupte amrite kalam nayed vedanta chintaya. Till you fall asleep, till you die, fill yourself with high Vedantic thoughts. This is Vedanta. High, noble thoughts. Don't waste one moment of your life thinking about anything which is other than God, spirituality, elevated thinking. How does it happen? It happens naturally when the Medha Devi blesses you, when the Vijnanamaya is awakened. O Medha Devi, before you came to me, Tvadagamanath Purvam, Jushamana Duruktan Brahadvadema, Tvaya Jushta, Jushamana Duruktan Brahadvadema Vidase Suviraha, Medha Suktam. O Medha Devi, before you came to my heart and awakened my consciousness in the Vijnanamaya, I was delighting in gossip, useless talk. Swami Brahmananda used to say, the greatest enemy of spiritual life is gossip. In Bengal it's called adda. All kinds of useless things we talk about, Most of them, 98%, is paracharcha, paraninda. You talk about others, what this man and that, what that man did, what that woman is talking about, what so-and-so says about so-and-so, and ninda, constantly criticizing everybody. If we can stop this, we cannot be stopped unless the Vijnanamaya is awakened and your whole consciousness becomes absorbed in that divine thought. It can be practiced by us by study of scriptures, by chanting, by japa, by meditation. Somehow or other, engage yourself in the thought of God. Yenakena prakarena mana krishne niyojayet. Somehow or other, by some means or the other, engage yourself in divine thought. Life is short, is ebbing away. One whole year simply went by the fear of the virus. And how many years will go, we do not know. Age is telling upon us. We are becoming old. Youth is vanishing. Having achieved this rare human birth, if we do not realize something higher, life is a huge waste. Enough is enough. We have done enough. We have gossiped enough. We have discussed and criticized and all kinds of useless talk we have engaged in. Enough. Enough is enough. No more. When will that come? When the Medha Devi blesses us. Then what will we do? Bruhat Vadema. We will discuss divine things. Bruhat means huge, large. Brahma comes from Brahma Dhatu, means Bruhat. That which is huge, divine, large. Don't discuss petty things. How much of time and energy is lost in discussing most useless petty things? Shayanacharya, discussing this, says, as interpreted by Swami Vimalanandaji in his famous translation of the Mahanarayana Upanishad, in which this Medha Suktam occurs. He says, Duruktan, bad talk, useless talk. What is useless talk? Purushartha anupayoginaha, Shabdan. Shabda, words which are Purushartha anupayogina. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Chaturvida Purushartha. Our talk does not lead us anywhere near any of the Purusharthas. Even if we discuss Artha, about money, that's also some kind of Purushartha. If we discuss Kama, enjoyment, even that is a Purushartha. Of course, Dharma and Moksha are highly elevating. But usually what we do is, we talk about things which does not contribute to the advancement of either Artha or Kama or Moksha or Dharma. What so-and-so did, what so-and-so did, what so-and-so said. How many things we waste our time upon. So-and-so, how does he talk about it like me? I don't like him. Let anybody say anything about you. Why should you bother about it? I have no time or energy to spend on this useless talk. Brahadvadema. I will talk about huge things, about Brahman, about God, about elevating noble things. With whom? Vidathe Suviraha. With people who are Suvira. People who are strong, people who are energetic, people who are courageous, Dhira, Viveki, in the form of Putra, Pautra, if you are a householder, your sons and grandchildren, or if you are a sannyasin, then with a Shishya, Prasishya, disciples and their disciples, they will come together and discuss this. This is called Brahmabhyasa, as mentioned in the Panchadashi by Vidyaranya Muni. Tat chintanam, tat kathanam, anyonyam, tat prabodhanam, etadekaparatvam cha brahmabhyasam vidurbuddhaha. Tat chintanam, thinking about Brahman, tat kathanam, talking about Brahman, discussing Brahman, anyonyam tat prabodhanam, kindling the deeper thought, contemplative awareness of one another through this discussion and deliberation on Brahman, just like in the Yajnavalkya debate, the famous debate and deliberation in Janaka's Sabha, great sages assembled and constantly discussing Brahman. Anyonyam tat prabodhanam etadekaparatvam cha. This is the only focus. Brahman is the only focus of our discussion, attention, thought, contemplation. Nothing else absorbs us. Nothing else satisfies us. This is called Brahmabhyasa. This is in the language of Jnana. Language of Bhakti, Bhagavan Sri Krishna talks about the same thing in the Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, 9th verse, 10.9. Matchitta madgata prana bodhayantav parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. Matchitta, those who have given over their minds to me, absorbed in me, madgata prana, all their vital energies, their prana, everything has been offered unto me, bodhayantav parasparam. Just like they said, anyonyam tat prabodhanam, parasparam, one another in a group, in a company, they talk to each other. Bodhayanta. They make the others understand. Hey, do you know? Today there's a class in Kathamrita. A very interesting idea I heard today. That is true. The same idea is Nida Prasanga also. Is it not there in the Kathopanishad? So constantly devotees will come together, children of God, and those who are walking in the same path of spirituality to reach God or Brahman, they are all called brother disciples, sister disciples, Guru Bhrata, Guru Bhagini. The same Guru is the Satchidananda. They are all children of the same God and they live as a huge family. In the Ramakrishna Sampradaya, we believe Sri Ramakrishna Thakur and Srima Sarada Ma, they are our divine parents. We are the children of the divine parents. Thakur and Mother, and Swami Vivekananda is our great Acharya. And he is taking us towards Sri Ramakrishna and Sharada Devi. So all of us joyfully march in this spiritual march, discussing Bodhayanta Parasparam, Kathayantascha Maham Nityam. They discuss me, the Lord said, they discuss the Lord, they discuss divine things, they discuss the glories of God, discuss the beauty of God, discuss the word of God. Nityam, always they discuss only great divine spiritual truths. What do? Tushyanti cha, ramanti cha. They're intensely glad, intensely happy. Jesus, the Christ, said in the Bible, Sermon on the Mount, rejoice and be exceeding glad. Come on, be happy, rejoice. Because you are company of God. The Word of God is the God Himself. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. St. John's Bible, first sentence. Swami Vivekananda began his teaching in the Thousand Island Park to the Christian disciples with this sentence. This word, which is God Himself, is Om, Pranava Mantra. This is called a word, this is called a Shabda, this is called a Nada, this is called a Dhvani, Anahata Dhvani. So after the Hiranyagarbha, which is called the Mahat, from there you move on, by God's grace, to still higher, Shanta Atmani. So the Kathopanishad describes this verse. I am reading out from the Kathopanishad 1.2.15, first Adhyaya, second Valli, 15th mantra. Sarve Veda Yat Padamamananti Tapamsi Sarvani Jayad Vadanti Yadichanto Brahmacharyam Charanti Tatte Padam Sangrahena Bravimi Om Ityetat. That state of consciousness which is described in the Vedas so that is the state of realization of the great tapasvis. The tapasvis, those who are devoted to great penance and sadhana, they discuss this and talk about the highest state, and desiring which mumukshus like us, those who desire liberation, those who want to be free from the clutches of the senses, go beyond space, time and causation, those who want release from the chain of birth and death, brahmacharyam charanti, they follow the path of brahmacharya. Here brahmacharya means brahmacharya ashrama. In the Gurukula, the mumukshus go under the guidance of an illumined guru. They practice austerities and study and meditation. What for? For realizing this highest state. That, O Nachiketa, I am going to tell you in extreme brevity, briefly, by just one letter, Om iti etat. This pada, this state is Om. This is the Anahata Dhvani, Pranava mantra Om, which can be thought of as the Vachaka of Brahman. There are two words which is commonly used, Vachaka and Vachya. Vachaka is the word, the mantra, the nama, the designation. Vachya is the nami. It is Brahman, it is God, that which is designated. Every object in the world has a name, and the object is called Nami, that which is named. You have a beautiful rose flower. The Nama of this flower is rose, gulab, and the Nami is the flower itself. Every one of us has a name. The moment you call by that name, the person responds. Every object with name and form will have a name, and the name is that by which the object is designated. Hey, go to the bazaar and purchase some vegetables. Which vegetable should I get? You get some potatoes, you get some brinjal, it brings some cabbage, it brings some carrot. What are they? They are the names of various vegetables. The name carrot immediately evokes in you the image of the carrot. The thing is brought to your mind's eye and you procure it. And the state of dreaming is our daily experience that every thought becomes an object. You think of a lion comes to you. You think of a house, you see a house, and so on. Which means thought and object are not different. The Sukshma, subtle form is called the thought, and the Sthula, the gross form, is called the object. So if you understand that the thought and the object, the word and the Vastu, the Nama and Nami are non-different, you will understand the significance of this word Om. Om is the name of Brahman. If you want to call Brahman, you call Om. Brahman responds, did you call me? All of you have an Android smartphone in your pockets or in your room. What do you do to call somebody? You write the name or the first letter, immediately say you call. So if you want to call Brahman, you put Om. Brahman says, did you call me? If you can establish a hotline with Brahman, with Om, which many people do, calls which you very often make, those numbers repeatedly nobody calls. You call it by shortcut. One number you press, immediately it goes there. So Om is a shortcut by invoking which Brahman immediately responds. Which kind of Brahman response? We said Brahman is of two types, two Rupa. One is the Saguna Brahman, other the Nirguna Brahman. One is the Hiranyagarbha, one is the Supreme Brahman. It's called Parabrahma and Aparabrahma. Apara is lower, Para is the highest. So Aparabrahman is called Hiranyagarbha. Parabrahman is called the Supreme Brahman, which is Nirguna. And Brahman is both Nirguna and Saguna. Each of them giving you access to Brahman. You realize himself as Saguna, then by the grace of the Saguna Brahman you may reach the Nirguna, and in the case of avatars and Ishvara Kotis and Adhikarika Purushas, specially commissioned people to work for the welfare of humanity, for the awakening of the cosmic spiritual consciousness of humankind, they come back after realizing the Nirguna and stay at the Saguna aspect and do good, called Bhava Mukha. After having experienced the supreme truth in both the aspects of Saguna and Nirguna, relative and the absolute, immanent and the transcendent, Para and Apara, the avatars stay put at the Bhava Mukha, which is the threshold between the relative and the absolute, Saguna and Nirguna, so that they can have access to both. Sri Ramakrishna stayed at Bhava Mukha by the divine command of the Divine Mother Kali, so that anytime he could merge in that infinite absolute state, and with ease he could come back and remain in touch with the relative so that he could help humanity. That's a very, very high state. But as far as we are concerned, if we can reach up to the Hiranyagarbha, our lives are blessed. Om reaches you to Hiranyagarbha, Aparabrahman, also reaches you beyond Aparabrahman, which is called the Parabrahman. That's why the Kathopanishad says, the next verse, Etad Jevaksharam Brahma, Etad Jevaksharam Param, Etad Jevaksharam Gyatva, Yo Yadichati Tasya Tat. This is both representative of the Aparabrahman as well as the Parabrahman. And by knowing and realizing this Om as both Apara as well as Para, both Saguna as well as Nirguna, both Ishvara as well as Shuddha Brahman, both immanent as well as transcendent, both relative as well as absolute, what happens? Etad Jevaksharam Gyatva Yo Yadichati Tasya Tat. Yo Yadichati Param Aparam Va Tasya Tad Bhavati. You remain with Saguna Brahman if you are satisfied with your beloved infinite Lord. You sing for him, you dance with him, you constantly enjoy His divine company, Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya Mukti. And if you want to go beyond and understand and realize His supreme Nirguna aspect, then also you can realize that. Yo yadichati, whatever the sadhaka really craves for by the grace of the Divine Mother, by the grace of Saguna Brahman or Ishvara, tasya tadu bhavati. Then Shankara adds a beautiful line here in the Bhashya. This is 1, 2, 16. First Adhyaya, second Valli, and 16th verse of the Kathopanishad. Those of you who are interested, you can have the book, you can refer later. 1, 2, 16 of the Kathopanishad. Etad jhevaksharam brahma, etad jhevaksharam param, etad jhevaksharam gyatva, yo yadichati tasya tat. Shankara says here in the Bhashya, in the commentary, if it is Parabrahman, then you have to realize it. If it is Aparabrahman, you have to reach it. Because Parabrahman cannot be reached. Parabrahman is a state of consciousness which is beyond name and form, and therefore there is no question of reaching it as a state. But Aparabrahman is a state. Hiranyagarbha is a state. Aparam ched praptavyam. If you consider it as Aparabrahman, you have to attain that state. Praptavyam. Param ched. If it is Parabrahman, the Supreme Brahman, unconditioned Brahman, attributeless Brahman, absolute Brahman, then Gyatavyam, it has to be realized. Realized as what? It has to be realized as one's own self. Once again, the same idea in Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. A Parabrahman has to be realized not as something out there, but as your own innermost self. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. Kenopanishad. I am not talking about that Brahman, the Rishi says, which you worship outside as separate from yourself. I am talking about that Brahman which is your own very self. Nedam yadidam upasate, not the upasya Brahman, but the Gyeya Brahman. That which is realized, which is known as your own very self. Aparam ched praptavyam, param ched gyatavyam. These are profound sentences. So we will think about this, meditate upon this, constantly saturate our mind and thought by these divine Vedantic spiritual ideas, so that we can be intensely rejoicing, be exceeding glad. Dushyanticha ramanticha. Om Niranjanam Nityamanantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. We'll have a